Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions.
Possibly have deep intuition when it comes to people as well. Like maybe you know what they're trying to say without them saying it and stuff like that. Yeah. And so that's a cool trait to have. Like you could probably be a psychologist if you wanted to be. Okay, now to my favorite stuff, and I'm nearly done. I could do so much more, but no, I'm going to get into some of.
Do as much as you like.
Again?
As much as you
Okay.
like. This is your deal.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So then we have your lunar nodes. The lunar nodes is one of my favorite planets. It's not a planet. It's like the polar aspects of the polar. It's polarities of the moon. So the north part of the moon and the south side of the moon. What it represents is like your life purpose. The north node represents your life purpose, and your south node represents what you may have accomplished in a past life, or what you may already be very good at, or what you may have already mastered. So your north node is in the sign of Taurus, which would mean your south node is in the sign of Scorpio, the opposite of Taurus. Your north node is in the sign of Taurus. So the north node in Taurus brings conflict between keeping everything on the one hand and wanting to leave everything outdated and unnecessary behind you. You probably need to learn to trust, and you probably have to accept the need for proximity, confidentiality, and physical contact. You probably need to recognize your own value more and more as you live, and you probably need to feel more of your own importance more and more as you live, and you probably are on a mission in this lifetime to like yourself for who you are, not for what anyone is trying to tell you you need to be. And you probably one of your goals in life is possibly to develop everything that promises security, material security, inner security, and self-confidence. You should be aware of abusing your sexual power. They should be aware of abusing their powerful. No. You should be aware of abusing your powerful sexuality. That's what it says. And your north node is in your 11th house, which is the house of friendships. So in this journey that you're on in life, north node in the 11th house brings the conflict between being self-centered, egocentric, showing off, and being aware that there's also a group that you belong to. So there's that balance between, being very considerate to your friendships and the people who are around you. The conflict between being platonic in love and passionate, sensual, erotic, having an erotic experience. You probably need to learn to look at life from different perspectives and not just think of satisfying the needs of your own. And you should develop the spirit of community more and more as you grow and as you live, and promote new ideas and reforms and spread awareness that we are all citizens of the world. And be aware of self-denial and of trying to always be the center of attention. Be aware of demanding attention, recognition and admiration. So it seems like you're possibly on a journey of focusing on self, because it's in your 11th house. So that's what it is. Mm-hmm. So your 11th house is the house of friendship. So it's probably like a lifelong journey of learning how to incorporate your friends and their perspectives and their worlds into like a place of community for you to be yourself as well, but for everybody to have the space and to feel safe around you, to be themselves around you as well. So without you losing your identity in the process. So This is another one of my favorite planets. This is the Black Moon Lilith. This is, again, not a planet. It's the dark side of the moon, the place where the opposites, the dark side of the moon was when you were born. Yours is in the sign of Pisces. So you possibly have a fascination with being self-sacrificing and blending in with others. This can possibly give you the ability to feel connected with everything and to feel things very deeply, and to have like really deep thoughts and to have like a cosmic soul. You're possibly it says these people are often midwives, prophets, and wise men or wise women. However, they may also perceive life as suffering and succumb to various dubious mystical ways that they believe bring mysterious abilities or can heal people. I'm telling you, this is why you're doing this interview, because like it's so the stuff that I do is so not mainstream, and you're just like, yeah, the music for healing, yeah. Like this explains that 100%. It does say beware of like foot injuries and things that may I don't like to get into the health side of stuff because I don't like people to like start fearing like, oh no, something's gonna happen. But like things that may affect your consciousness, like do beware of those type of things. Do beware of abuse of alcohol. And then this is in your ninth house. Your Lilith is in your ninth house of higher learning. So other countries can become your home, or other, environments can become your home, or serve as a stimulus to you, motivate you into, like, in every possible sense. You possibly feel very inspired or feel very deeply connected to other cultures, other environments, other places, traveling, learning from other societies and stuff like that. Now, last but not least, we have your Chiron. There's more after this, but last but not least with the planets, we have your Chiron. This is your childhood wound or your wound from a past life that you will possibly be spending your whole life trying to heal. But your goal, everybody has one, your goal would be to figure out how to use this wound to contribute to your life purpose and whatever you're trying to accomplish in this life. Your soul is trying to accomplish in this life. So yours is also in the sign of Pisces. It says, these people believe that the world is a place of great suffering and that there's physical and moral misery, illness, violence, and injustice all around us. Even sympathy with suffering people can become an unhealable injury, because this suffering basically never ends. These people can react with disgust and resignation, or on contrary, by helping others, because by helping others, these people can also heal their own irreparable injury. This is again in your ninth house of travel and higher learning. So let me read it. These people are repeatedly forced to experience religious and ideology crises and face doubts about the meaning of life. The world seems to them like a ship full of crazy people. I can relate to that. I feel like that often too. Could feel like a ship full of crazy people where no rules apply and they are unable to find a meaningful place in it. They feel like trusting and naive outlanders, foreigners in their own country, while others seem to them invulnerable. Their injury has a name, spleen. Wow. So, So there could be some, if I were to do sound healing on you, it would be a lot of focus around your spleen, basically. So, I'm gonna look that up. You could check out your doctor records about your spleen, how it's functioning and how that's working for you. That's interesting. If I were like doing like working with you for real, I would dive straight into that and what herbs and things you can take for your spleen, because that probably can lead you to like some type of breakthrough emotionally. You can look it up yourself, like what natural herbs you can take for your spleen. Okay. And just kiss.
I'll do it.
So I'm gonna get into just a few. I don't know. I'm probably gonna do the whole thing.
Go right ahead. Go. You've got all the time. Okay. You've got all the time you need.
Okay. So those were the planets. I'm just gonna look into like how the planets are interacting with each other.
Okay.
So, and And yeah, let's get into it. So the sun, your sun is in the sign of Leo, and your Venus is in the, who's your Venus? Your Venus was in the sign of Libra. They formed a conjunction when you were born, and so there can be, so this can highlight feminine characteristics in both sexes, and it also supports artistic and creative inclinations. These people are often optimistic and they enjoy the company of other people. They have good taste for fashionable clothes. Your moon was forming a square with your Mercury when you were born. This could bring problems with memory. These people are able to understand others, but they may not always be able to interpret them correctly. But then we have that other aspect that said you are intuitive with people. So these things, a lot of these things balance each other out.
Mhm.
They may have problems in the emotional area, and you could be inclined to gossip. They are very intelligent, but they often use their intelligence to deceive people. They even tend to deceive themselves, and they often start believing their truths. We have the moon formed a sextile with Venus, the planet of love, when you were born. This harmonious aspect gives people balanced temperaments, charming manners, and usually they also have good looks. So social success is almost guaranteed. These people have creative abilities and they need to create a pleasant home environment. I get that from other parts of your chart as well, that the home environment is very important to you. The moon also formed a conjunction with Jupiter when you were born. So this conjunction can manifest itself in two different ways. These people can either be very generous, kind, and good-natured individuals who are great hosts, or they can be demanding people who require a lot of luxury and care and love in order to feel comforted. They also like long journeys and they want to have large families. These introverts often lead. Are you introverted? What do you say? You don't seem introverted. No, no, right?
I'm an introvert naturally, so I'm naturally introverted. So if I don't put myself out there, like if I don't make an effort, I'll never talk to anybody.
Oh, so you are an introvert who's
So I'm
selectively extroverted.
yeah, so I'm naturally introverted, but I'm constantly pushing myself to be extroverted, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right.
But
Yeah. I connect with that.
Yeah, I like the idea of when I'm an extrovert, I can make a difference. When I'm introverted, I'm just
You feel more
watching
comfortable.
the world go by, right? But if I'm extroverted, if I make an effort to be extroverted, or an extrovert, I guess, I can have an impact on people. And I believe that it's a positive thing, right? It's part of the reason why we're doing the podcast, because I want to make a difference in this world. And I'm truly convinced we're making a difference with every single person that we have as a guest on our podcast. Because people are going to relate to what you're reading about me. People are going to relate to that. And it's whether they're a Libra or they're not, right? They're going to relate to what you're reading about me. They're going to connect with that. I know for a fact they will. So that's the kind of stuff
that's what your North Node said, is that you're learning how to basically include other people's needs, like, and their need. You're learning to give people their place in community. So that's literally possibly what you're doing with your podcast, is like giving people their space while you're still maintaining yours.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned being optimistic, right? You mentioned earlier being optimistic. So there are people that have worked with me in the past, and they'll call me and they'll just say, Mike, I just need 5 minutes of mic time. Because they're having a rough day, the world's chewed them up and spit them out, whatever, right? And they'll call me up and I just need 5 minutes of mic time. Okay. And we'll talk about whatever. We don't typically talk about what's getting them down. We just talk about whatever's going on. And in 5 minutes, they're ready to go back out and hit it. And it's, I get that a lot. So we have a thing.
Did you feel like that's something that you developed over time? Like,
oh yeah,
like when you were younger, especially like when you were a teenager, did you feel like you knew how to discern when people needed that space from you, or when people needed you that way? Or was it something that you grew and developed more and attracted more to yourself?
I absolutely developed it. So So I came
developed it,
across
yeah.
a guy by the name of Tony Robbins
Mhm.
in my
Oh, I
late
know
teens.
him, yeah, I
Right.
haven't heard of him yet.
And I
Mhm.
ended up getting certified in sales mastery with his organization.
Mhm.
And I had an opportunity to get to know a bunch of people that were inside his company. And
Mhm.
it changed my life. It completely
Mhm.
changed my life. Tony
Mhm.
was what was the kind of energy and the kind of outlook that my grandfather had. My grandfather we were very, very close. I was named after the son he never had, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
my grandfather had a particular way of looking at the world, and it's very similar to the way Tony looks at it. So that was sort of the energy that I was seeking my whole life, and I found it with Tony.
Mhm. So he is like a motivational speaker, no?
Yeah,
Is that what he is?
yeah. Well,
Is that all he is?
he's motivational, but he's also somebody who is real. Like he's real about what's going on, and he's real about what the solutions are. Like
Right.
the solution to so I'm a deep believer that no matter what happens in this world, no matter what it is, as horrific as it might be, if you look close enough, you'll find something positive that comes from it.
Right.
You have to look.
Yeah.
You have to put the
Yeah.
effort
Yeah.
in to find it,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Some people don't do that. Some people look at it and they
Mhm.
just accept it for what it is. I don't do that. I
Mhm.
look at this is what happened. Okay, now what's
Mhm.
positive that can come from it? You with me?
Right.
So people are constantly
Yeah.
saying, if God is so good, why would God
Mhm.
allow this to happen? Right?
Right.
And the answer is
Mhm.
it happens to people to prepare them so that when they in the future, when they come across somebody that's close to them that's going through the same type of thing, they can put their arm around them and they can say, you know what, I dealt with this way. Here's how I
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Everybody wants significance in their life. And what I
Mhm.
believe is happening every single day is God is preparing us to be significant to the people around us.
Mm.
That makes sense?
Wow. Yes, it
So,
absolutely does.
yeah. So
So that's how you develop that.
that's why I'm resonating with everything that you're saying, because you're basically right on. Like, I know I know that I can have a positive impact in the world. I believe that the positive impact I can have is much greater than what I've had so far. And that's why the podcast. We're writing our first book, right?
Wow.
We have a YouTube channel. I mean, right? So all the things that we're doing are all adding to that potential influence. And
Right.
I believe that I've barely scratched the surface in terms of what we can do.
Of what you can do, yeah, yeah. And that is again, so the placement of your north node, it's almost like that is what you're destined to do,
Yeah.
to create space for people and to not only create space, but to do it in a way where they almost feel like a sense of community and a sense of belonging. So,
And that's what I want.
I think
That's what I want. I want
yeah,
everybody to feel like they can be a part of this deal, right? They can
right.
be in the tent and they can feel like they have a
Mhm.
significant
Right.
place there. I really want
Yes.
to help people realize that they bring more value than they realize.
Mhm.
And then I want them to go
Right.
out and I want them to magnify on that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, so
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I
Yes.
I feel like we're building a community. That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, glad I could give you a word. I like to write, and when I can't find the word I'm looking for, it's like the most frustrating thing.
Oh, I love
But
it.
okay.
You're right on. Like you're describing these. So I'm enjoying it.
Thank you. I'm glad to do it. Let's see
You're
what
good
else
at
we
this.
have
You're
here.
really good at this.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So it said these introverts often lead religious lives and spend, and you were just talking about God, and spend a lot of time contemplating. You can be selfish when you try to promote your interests but you like to study and you really like living abroad. Your Mercury is formed a square with Jupiter when you were born. Jupiter is the planet of being lucky. This aspect brings extremist thinking. You sometimes have doubts about your beliefs and have difficulties to synchronize theories with practice. You're restless and often move abroad. The Saturn, the planet of discipline, formed in opposition with Uranus, your planet of rebellion. Those are like not opposing planets, but opposing concept. Discipline versus rebellion. This aspect is responsible for the fact that these people often have principles that can be chaotic. However, it's also possible that they have highly developed sense of order, which is not acceptable to other people. Your behavior is usually unpredictable. These people are often too strict and stiff. Their logic is frequently rigid, and they sometimes also look down on people. Oh my God, that was like, okay, so your Saturn also formed a trine with Neptune. Neptune is the planet of fantasy and intuition. Saturn, the planet of discipline. These people often use their dreams and fantasies as the basis for their practical activities. However, their views can be conservative. They systematically and harmoniously progress in spiritual growth. Saturn, the planet of discipline, formed in opposition with Pluto, the planet of transformation and metamorphosis. This is responsible for the fact that these people do not know what they want, and they often try to drastically change their personal life. They have reformist ideas, but you can possibly benefit from creating firmer foundations for your ideas. Your feelings of uniqueness, exclusivity, and inimitability are responsible for your personality. Then your Uranus formed a sextile with Neptune. Uranus, the planet of rebellion, Neptune, the planet of creativity and intuition and fantasies. This harmonious aspect gives you a desire for meaningful life, but this desire is weak and needs help from other planets in order to manifest itself, like that desire for a meaningful life. It also reinforces fantasy. So just like, so this can lead to being very original, very creative, and innovative inspiration. You have 2 more left. So your Uranus, which is the planet of rebellion, formed a conjunction with Pluto. This is a great aspect. Formed a conjunction with Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation, regeneration, and rebirth. So it's like whenever you rebel against something old, you can immediately dive into something new because Pluto is the planet of transformation. So this conjunction is an aspect of a generation lasting for several years. And it always accompanies profound changes in human history. This conjunction creates original personalities with genius ideas, which will impress wide circles of people throughout society. And then Neptune, the planet of fantasies, intuition, spirituality, forms a sextile with Pluto, the planet of regeneration. And this harmonious aspect is long-lasting, and it affects peacemaking attitudes. In connection with other aspects, it further enhances peace building and transformative actions on a global scale. And that's all that I have for you.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's more, but the rest of them are like the minor aspects. So yeah. So that's your birth chart reading. I ran through it, but
Good job.
could have gone decent. You're welcome.
You're good at this. You're really good at this.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So,
if anybody listening wants a birth chart reading, they can hit me up anytime.
absolutely. Now, your Instagram is Rocky Writer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rocky Writer.
Rocky Writer.
Right. So Rocky, like the Rock, like the movie Rocky, and writer, just like a writer of a book, right? Or a writer of a story. Together, that's your Instagram. Yeah. Is there a more preferred way that people can reach you?
Yeah, so I have my Instagram, Rocky Writer, as well as Rocky Writer on Facebook and Threads. You could also go to rockywriter.com for everything, as well as Rocky Writer on YouTube. The thing that I update every single day with astrological stuff and things related to that is Rocky Writer Shop. So it's the same thing, Rocky Rider, just with shop at the end. That's on Facebook, Twitter, everything. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, everything. Well, it's X now, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's on all the things, Rocky Rider Shop. All the astrological stuff is on there, and all of my music stuff is on Rocky Rider's pages.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to cover before we wrap up?
No, just also stream my music is on Spotify, Apple Music, and all the streaming platforms, and stream my music and follow me on social media, and that's all.
That's awesome. Well, Rocky, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your time. Thank you for giving us your life story, and thank you for sharing my reading. This is awesome.
Yeah,
really
that was fun. I never thought I would do that on air like that.
And you nailed it, by the way. So I really
Thank
appreciate it. You're awesome.
Thank you for allowing me to do it.
Thanks again for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience.
All right, bye guys.
Take care. We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out calendly.com/Rio760.